Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to begin the second half of our evening and welcome you to the 12th Annual Game Developers Choice Awards. Please welcome the event director of the Game Developers Conference, Megan Scavio, and Executive Vice President of GDC and Gama Sutra, Simon Carlos.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome to the 12th Annual Game Developers Choice Awards.
We're delighted to be here honouring the best video games of the past year as voted by you, the game developers. Once again, the International Choice Awards Network, comprising over 700 of the world's top game creators, have picked tonight's winners from an open nomination process.
Tonight we're also celebrating the achievements of First Amendment defenders, classic arcade game creators, and one of the industry's most storied veterans with our special awards. And continuing our For Developers by Developers tradition, it's time to introduce to you our host for the evening, epic game designer and general man about town, Mr. Cliff Bleszinski.
For the record, I'm 5'9", and I'm not quite sure when that became short, so that was a very entertaining show. I want to thank Megan and Simon and everyone at GDC for allowing to have my Make-A-Wish dream finally become a reality. As a kid, it was a dream of mine to one day replace Mark Summers as the host of Double Dare. True story, swear to God. No chocolate slides here, by the way. So the Game Developers 2012 Choice Awards are kind of sort of like that. It's seriously an amazing honor to be standing in front of so many hardworking game developers. I started working in the industry when I was 16 years old, the very year that Mortal Kombat, Echo the Dolphin, and Super Mario Karts were flying off the shelves at Funko Land. As of this summer, I'll be 20 years in. Yeah, it's been a while. While I've always loved film, television, and fiction, only the interactive medium has ever truly captured my heart. I'm thrilled to be able to do what I do. Don't tell Mark, Rain, or Tim Sweeney, but I do this job even for a lot less of those diabetes-inducing beverages we have around the office. So months ago via email, Megan Scavio asked me to consider hosting the awards. This was truly a nice change of pace, given that most of my interactions with Megan have been drunken rants back and forth at GDC after parties, usually over whatever scotch happens to be left in the bottle at 3 in the morning. It makes for rough morning meetings as well. But still, I was a little apprehensive. I'm a kind of a shy developer. I don't like being in the public eye. So I decided to ask last year's host, the esteemed Mr. Tim Schafer, for advice. When I emailed him to seek his infinite wisdom, he was quick to respond with this photo. And he just kept sending advice to me. Over and over and over. I think the toilet one is my favorite. Tim's a tough act to follow. He's much funnier than I am. So Tim, you're what, 27 right out there? Thank you for your kind mentoring. I wish you and your Swiss bank account the best of luck in your new adventure together. Now, let's give out some friggin' trophies, people. Our first choice award is for Best Audio, or as I call it, the Nolan North Award. The award for Best Audio recognizes the influence that a new game has on Tommy Tallarico, Jeremy Soule, and our Bob Rice throughout any given calendar year. All jokes aside, this is one of the most underrated areas of game development, and since we're an interactive medium, we need feedback, and lots of it. Nothing shows feedback better than the crunch of bone, the clatter of hot shell casings, or the deep, yeasty sound of a flame spell. I don't even know what that means. These are the nominees for Best Audio.
Best Audio.
How's it going?
Bastion. Developed by Supergiant Games. Published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Darren Korb.
Boss.
Logan Cunningham. Dead Space 2. Developed by Visceral Games. Published by Electronic Arts. Steve Papoutsis. Jay White. The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim. Developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Published by Bethesda Softworks. Mark Lampton. Little Big Planet 2. Developed by Media Molecule. Published by Sony Computer Entertainment. The Media Molecule team. Little Big Planet 2 composition team. Portal 2. Developed by Valve. Published by Valve and Electronic Arts. Josh Wire. Garrett Rickey. Jeff Balasek. Eric Wopaw. Jay Pinkerton.
And the Choice Award for Best Audio goes to Portal 2.
Wow. Well, as you know, we audio guys tend to be a fairly isolated bunch, and most of you just turn the speakers off anyway. But honestly, on this project, I don't think there was a single discipline in our entire company that wasn't involved in some fashion in the decisions or the audio itself. And for them and for myself, thank you.
Everybody loves Wheatley. Congratulations, by the way. And so now on to Best Debut. The nominees in this category all demonstrate youthful ambition, an ability to innovate, and fresh faces that have yet to be scarred and aged by processed food and excruciating crunch time. The award for Best Debut recognizes the impact that a new studio and its game has on the collective gaming consciousness, as well as attracting the beady eyes of larger, less innovative studios determined to clone whatever's best for maximum profitability. You know who you are.
Best Debut. Supergiant Games. Bastion. Amir Rao. Gavin Simon. Eidos Montreal. Deus Ex. Human Revolution. David and Fosse. Jean-Francois Dugas. Team Bondi.
Roust them, beat them,
LA Noire.
restore some fervor to your police work.
The Team Bondi team.
I did it for you, and that's how you repay me!
BioWare Austin. Star Wars The Old Republic. James Olin. Dallas Dickinson. Richard Bogle. Tom Boyd. Jeff Dobson. Relogic. Terraria. Andrew Spinks. Finn Bryce.
And the Game Developer's Choice Award for Best Debut goes to Supergiant Games.
Thank you very much. This is all of Supergiant Games right here, who made Bastion. It's amazing to be nominated in a category with so many big and amazing teams and amazing games. And we did it all out of a living room of a house in San Jose, California. So anyway, thank you very much, and it's great to get recognition and recognition from our peers nonetheless. Thank you.
Tonight's first nominee for Game of the Year: Batman: Arkham City. Developed by Rocksteady Studios. Published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. David Hobeck. Ben Wyatt. Nick Arundel. Sefton Hill. Jamie Walker.
So I kind of had someone help me out with writing this next part, so bear with me if I kind of stumble a little bit on this. Dearest esteemed audience, no matter what kind of game it is, writing for an interactive medium is tough cookies. Who says that? It takes a brilliant mind, a super genius of incredible attractiveness, you know, like Timothy Olyphant or Angelina Jolie's leg. Once you weed out the non-hot ones, those very few writers up for the challenge are truly a rare breed and should be paid more. A lot more. I'm talking points here, call my agent. Anyways, only a certain type of unique personality can simultaneously grasp story, context, and the player's ability to screw all of that up. It takes a special talent to understand that when it comes to games, it's not the story or the gameplay, it's the story of the gameplay. I like that. P.S. Thanks a bunch for that Starbucks gift card for Christmas last year, asshole. Tonight's nominees for Best Narrative are...
Best Narrative.
Proper
Bastion.
story is supposed to start at the beginning.
Developed by Supergiant Games. Published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Greg
In the
Kasavin.
sky.
Are you okay?
Portal 2.
Don't
Developed
answer
by
that. I'm actually sure you're
Valve.
fine.
Published
There's
by
plenty of time
Valve.
to recover.
And
Just take
Electronic
things
Arts.
for
Josh
emergency
Wire.
evacuation.
Garrett
Oh,
Ricky.
sorry.
Chet
I'm still cleaning out
Balasek.
the
Eric
test chambers.
Wopaw. Jay Pinkerton. Saints Row the Third. Developed by Volition. Published by THQ. Greg Donovan. Scott Phillips. Steve Jarrow. Frank Markwart. Nick Lee.
Leave it to you to find a
Uncharted
friggin'
3.
jungle in the middle
Drake's
of France.
Deception.
Rescue cover,
Developed
Chloe.
by Naughty Dog.
Just sneak
Published
back
by
up.
Sony
I gotta
Computer Entertainment. Amy Hennig.
Plot here. Remind me again why we're doing this.
The Witcher 2. Developed by CD Projekt Red. Published by CD Projekt. Sebastian Stepien.
And you are
Jan
a Witcher.
Bartkovich. Arkadiusz Borowicz. Arthur Slavinsky.
And this year's winner for Best Narrative is... Why do I feel like these guys are going to wind up like Adele at the Grammys? Portal 2.
Well, here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Remember when you tried to kill me twice? Oh, how we laughed and laughed. Except I wasn't laughing. Under the circumstances, I've been shockingly nice. You want your freedom.
Wow. Thank you. During most of the development of Portal 2, I was pretty convinced that it was going to kill me. So just not being dead was kind of the biggest award I thought I was going to get. So this is great, especially in such a strong year with Bastion and Saints Row 3 and all the other nominees. At Valve, we don't just write and then throw our writing over the wall. It truly is a collaborative experience. So when I say I want to thank the entire team, I really mean it. They were a huge part of the narrative that we delivered. So thank you very much. Thank you.
That's what I'm counting on. I used to
When I was just starting out as a wee lad, pixels were king. Now we've got guys spending the prime years of their life locked away in a windowless office, modeling a 600 million triangle dragon, skinning a Bradley fighting vehicle, or making Skyrim Cave number 4,873. All I ask is that the winner approach the stage without Cheeto dust on their fingers. Let's see the nominees for Best Visual Arts.
Best Visual Arts. Battlefield 3. Developed by DICE. Published by Electronic Arts. Gustav Telebi. Matthias Chilen. Robert Samalin. The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim. Developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Published by Bethesda Softworks. Matt Carofano. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron, developed by Ignition Japan, published by Ignition Entertainment, the El Shaddai team. Rayman Origins, developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, published by Ubisoft, Michel Ancel, Celine Pellier, Christophe Villers. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, developed by Naughty Dog, published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Eric Pangilinan, Rob Rupert.
And the award for Best Visual Arts goes to Uncharted 3.
Amazing. Rob and I are really honored to work with such a talented, kick-ass team at Naughty Dog. This was such a collaborative project, and oh man, and those guys really worked their ass off for this game, and we want to thank their families as well. Evan and Christoph for creating a great environment at Naughty Dog, and Justin and Amy for their leadership. Thank you.
Thanks, and of course to our crew who actually made us look really good. For on behalf of Tate, Tegan, Mike, Dave, Keith, Z, Hanno, Josh, Eric, Taylor, Ruben, Henry, Dustin, both David, Simon, Rico, Todd, Adrian, Adam, Anthony, Andrew, Paul, Christoph, Inkio, Charlotte, Malcolm, Beiruz, Adam, Genesis, Brian, Con, Melissa, Jeremy, Brad, Matt, Eva, Mike, Eben, Icky, Doug, and my crew, Andrew, Eitan, and Hong. We thank you.
Thank you very much.
Downloading The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Why y'all ready?
No, just put it up. Just hold it up. No, don't spin. Don't spin. Bring it up. Okay, shield. Lift the sword. No, don't go back there. Don't stop. No, pick it. Lift it. Don't roll it. Lift it. Pick it up. The batteries are low. Does anybody have double A's?
No, double A batteries.
I don't know. You don't have a loose AAA anywhere? Skyward Strike. Keep it up. Leave it up. Or blow him up. He's behind you. Blow him up. Stab him. Behead him. Stab him. Do it. can't get it to work. Do you want to try it? Do you want to take it? Just take it. I can't get it to work. It's a waste. It's a huge waste.
I love those guys. Thanks for that, Mega 64. 5 or so years from now, when all games are available for download and or instantly playable on day one, we'll look back at today's downloadable realm and remember these games as pioneers. What we, as a business, sometimes don't appreciate is that these games are essentially paving a path to ending a used game market. And more importantly, they're also shattering the $60 have-to-have-it-at-midnight blockbuster day one mentality that has taken over this console generation, much like neckbeards have taken over indie gaming. And hats. These developers can often take risks that publishers of traditional box games cannot. The nominees for Best Downloadable Game are
Best Downloadable Game. Bastion. Developed by Supergiant Games. Published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Amir Rao. Gavin Simon. From Dust, developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, published by Ubisoft. Eric Shahi, Suwan Martin Rajet, Thibaut Alsandre, Guillaume Brunier. Frozen Synapse, developed and published by Mode 7 Games. Ian Hardingham, Paul Taylor, Robin Cox. Outland, developed by Housemarque, published by Ubisoft. Aki Raula, Kimo Latinen, Harry Kruger, Mikko Eirola, Ari Hulkanen.
Outland.
Stacking, developed by Double Fine, published by THQ. Lee Teddy.
And the Best Downloadable Game Award winner is... They approach the stage slowly. Bastion.
So thank you again. We just want to thank all the other people who helped us make this possible, like our families who put up with us, my mom who gave us legal advice, my dad who let us use his house, and to Warner Brothers who took a chance on us and published us, and yeah, every place we released, XBLA, PC, on Steam, and Chrome. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
The second nominee for Game of the Year. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Published by Bethesda Softworks. Todd Howard.
No other business is more collaborative than the video game industry. But that said, at the end of the day, there still needs to be that soaring creative visionary, a man or woman who leads the development team through development hell, holding high a vision through countless, and I mean countless, code crashes, misguided publisher notes, smart-ass write-ups from our journalist friends, all of it together. Sit the fuck down, Jeff Keighley. You're not going home with a free BlackBerry tonight. The nominees for Best Game Design are
Best Game Design: Batman: Arkham City, developed by Rocksteady Studios, published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Jamie Whitworth, Sefton Hill, Jamie Walker, Ian Ball, Paul Crocker. Dark Souls, developed by From Software, published by Namco Bandai Games, Hidetaka Miyazaki. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, developed by Bethesda Game Studios, published by Bethesda Softworks, Todd Howard. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, developed and published by Nintendo, Eiji Aonuma, Hidemaru Fujibayashi. Portal 2, developed by Valve, published by Valve and Electronic Arts. Josh Wire, Garrett Rickey, Jeff Balasek, Eric Wopaw, Jay Pinkerton.
And the Game Developer's Choice Award for Best Game Design goes to Portal 2.
Thank you very, very much. I'd like to accept this award on behalf of everyone at Valve Software and say that the fact that this was voted on by our peers means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Since Mattel finally announced they'd finally be releasing a real-life hoverboard this fall, I'm thinking that whomever wins this award for Best Technology really can't gloat that much. The nominees for Best Technology are
Best Technology: Battlefield 3, developed by DICE, published by Electronic Arts, Johan Anderson, Tobias Dahl, Frederick Lurving. Crisis 2, developed by Crytek Frankfurt UK, published by Electronic Arts, Shavat Yerling, Jan Lechner, Nathan Camarillo, Magnus Larbrandt. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, developed by Bethesda Game Studios, published by Bethesda Softworks, Guy Carver. L.A. Noire, developed by Team Bondi, published by Rockstar Games. The Team Bondi team.
Pick up a shovel and a pick on the way.
Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception, developed by Naughty Dog, published by Sony Computer Entertainment, Paul Engstock, Travis McIntosh, Christian Gerling.
And the award for Best Technology goes to Battlefield 3.
thank you. I would like to accept this award on behalf of everyone at the entire DICE and the Frostbite team and everyone within EA that helped us to make this massive and very, very complex game. We love building games, and we love building tech that really empowers games and makes us create gameplay and create visual experiences that you've never seen before. And I hope we manage to do that. Thanks.
And now, back to our decidedly low-tech friends. Give it up for Mega64.
Now loading Uncharted 3.
No, they drugged him. What? Get away from me! Get away from me! God! I'm sorry.
I don't understand. Sully, where are you? I won't go. You can't make me.
Excuse me.
Sully, is that you? Sully, what's happening? I don't know.
Get out of my way.
I don't understand.
I'm in the security, bro. Get the f out of my way. That doesn't look normal the way you look and everything.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You need help?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I feel fine now.
Yeah.
It passed out of my system.
There you go.
Yeah.
Was it gas?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I got it right in the neck. Okay. Later, Sully.
I've always admired the handhelds games business. Analysts seem to have a blast kicking it in the nuts repeatedly, but ultimately, gamers in the millions are still managing their godforsaken farms via smartphones. And despite massive hardware failures of the past, like, say, Virtual Boy, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and pretty much anything portable from Microsoft, there still is a small band of diligent ingenues making big strides to bring gamers deep, forward-pushing titles. Thanks for fighting the good fight. Let's see this year's nominees for Best Handheld Mobile Game.
Best Handheld Mobile Game. Tiny Tower. Developed and published by Nimblebit, Ian Marsh, David Marsh. Super Mario 3D Land. Developed and published by Nintendo, Yoshiaki Koizumi, Koichi Hayashida. Woohoo! Jetpack Joyride. Developed and published by Half Brick Studios, Luke Muscat, Adam Wood, Jason Harwood, Sierra Asher. Infinity Blade 2, developed by Chair Entertainment, published by Epic Games, Donald Mustard, Jeremy Mustard, Michael C. Cass. Super Brothers, Sword and Sorcery EP, developed by Happy Games, Super Brothers. Super Brothers, the Cappy Games team, Jim Guthrie.
And the Choice Award for Best Handheld Mobile Game goes to... Oh my god, you're right, Super Brothers.
This is so cool. Thank you so much. I feel bad. Those other nominees are phenomenal, and yeah, I should say a thank you. Cappy and Jim Guthrie and the Cappy team and my family and my wife and everybody who supported the project and contributed to it, and that's it. That's all I got. You guys go.
Thank you so much. I actually wanted to also thank Craig and Nathan and Jim and John and Frankie that makes up the entire Sword and Sorcery team. Without Craig, his vision and his art and inspiration and all that, this project would be nothing basically. And without Nathan yelling at Craig 2 GDCs ago to force him to make a game with us, that also wouldn't have happened. And obviously Jim's music was one of the strongest components of the game, and in a lot of ways, it was one of the things that kept us going through our darkest moments. Jim continued to pump out incredibly beautiful and inspiring music that we tried to wrap a game around while we were both going insane and losing our minds. I also wanted to thank my family, my mom and my dad and my sister for supporting me, and the indie game community at large. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here today for sure. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So how are we doing on time? In the back, are we good? We're good? We're doing good on time? Good, because after this Innovation Award, a really long tribute speech, yet another video of Mega64 getting arrested, a couple other more detailed recap things, and my extensive closing remarks will get you all out of here in plenty of time for the PR and marketing people to get back to the W so that they can cheat on their spouses. It's funny because it's true. Here now are the nominees for this year's Innovation Award.
Innovation Award. LA Noire. Developed by Team Bondi. Published by Rockstar Games. The Team Bondi team.
Do it, boys. We got bad guys to catch.
Johann Sebastian Joust. Developed by Degut Fabric. Douglas Wilson. Niels Deniken. Nicholas Nygren. Bastion. Developed by Supergiant Games. Published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Amir Rao. Gavin Simon. Portal 2, developed by Valve, published by Valve and Electronic Arts. Josh Wire, Garrett Rickey, Chet Balasek, Eric Wopaw, Jay Pinkerton. Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure, developed by Toys for Bob, published by Activision. Paul Ritchie, Fred Ford, Terry Falls.
And the Innovation Award goes to Johann Sebastian Joust.
In a minute, I'm going to teach you how to play a really cool party game. It's a game called Slap Poker, and it's by Ramiro Corbetta, who's an awesome game designer based in New York City. Here's how it works. I have a deck of cards, and there's a group of people. We're going to stand in a circle. On the count of 3, we're each going to put a card on our head, right? So I can see everyone else's card, but not mine. The first player to slap in the face, the person with the highest card gets a point. That might be you. If you think you have the highest card, you slap yourself. If you slap wrong, you lose a point. and you play until you're super drunk or up to 10 points or something. I don't know. All right, we're going to play one round. All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Tonight's third nominee for Game of the Year, Portal 2. Developed by Valve. Published by Valve and Electronic Arts. Josh Wire. Garrett Rippey. Jeff Balasek. Eric Wopak. Jay Pinkerton. Here tonight to present this year's Ambassador of the Year award is Valve's Vice President of Marketing, Doug Lombardi.
Thanks. The rise of every entertainment medium has been faced with criticisms and calls for censorship. Books, plays, films, music, video games. While those lobbying for censorship of video games have been doing so for years, it always seemed like nothing would ever come of those calls. Then one bright, cold December morning, 15 months ago, our industry was on trial before the United States Supreme Court in the case of Brown versus the EMA. The wrong ruling in the case would have meant the introduction of censorship of our work, manifesting in the restriction of the advertising and distribution of our work. Luckily, however, the good guys prevailed. Last summer, the 9 delivered a 7-2 decision, ruling that content-based restrictions on video games are unconstitutional. The landmark ruling established First Amendment rights for those who create, develop, publish, and sell video games in the US, and it sends that message worldwide. The Ambassador Awards we're presenting tonight recognize 2 individuals who helped lead our prevailing effort in this case. The first of our honorees oversaw all of the ESA's legal matters as its general counsel at the time. The second was the lead external lawyer and handled the vital duties of arguing the case before the Supreme Court. So to recognize this historic victory and all those who helped make it happen, the Game Developers' Choice Awards would like to welcome to the stage the recipients of this year's Ambassador Award, First Amendment lawyers Ken Doroshow and Paul Smith.
I want to thank everyone for this award who's here, and I do mean everyone because this group represents the game development community, and it was a real honor to be able to represent all of you in the Supreme Court. You folks create some amazing works of art in a medium that is taking over the world. I am forced to acknowledge that some of your creativity is a little difficult to explain to Supreme Court justices. It did produce an occasional question or two that wasn't the easiest thing I've ever had to answer in the Supreme Court. Thank you, Postal 2. I really appreciated that. But that was just part of the challenge of representing you, which, as I say, was a real honor. I do want to thank the Entertainment Software Association for sticking with us and fighting this fight, not just in this case, but for more than a decade, establishing the full First Amendment rights of video games as a mode of expression, represented here by Mike Gallagher and Richard Taylor, who are at our table, but also by my comrade at arms, Ken Doroshow, who it's a real honor to share this award with. Ken really was the lead guy organizing the effort that won this case, which involved organizing not just the brief we filed and the argument we made, but the entire industry had to show up and file briefs. Allied industries and other media had to file briefs, recognizing and communicating to the court what a real huge threat this case really was to the First Amendment. I also want to thank the Entertainment Merchants Association who stuck with us through this fight over more than a decade, and my colleagues at Jenner and Block, represented tonight by Katie Fallow, who's been there with me throughout. Now, this case, when the Supreme Court took it, did represent a profound threat not only to this industry, but certainly to this industry, but also to the First Amendment rights of all Americans. The idea that speech could suddenly be taken outside of the First Amendment just because it was controversial and people didn't think it was appropriate for kids to see it was profoundly threatening to all of us. Fortunately, though, the Supreme Court stuck to its guns and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to let people make their own choices about what media they want to experience, what works they want to experience, what expression they like and don't like. And that's going to apply not just to grown-ups, but also to minors. So it was a great victory, and it was a real honor for me to be able to be a part of it. Ken.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul, and thank you all so much. This is an incredible honor. If somebody had told me a few years ago that I'd get to go to the Supreme Court on a landmark First Amendment case on behalf of the most creative and innovative industry on the planet, and then I'd get an award for it, I'd think they were crazy. But I mean, it feels like I'm cheating here to get an award for something that's just such a privilege that so few lawyers get to have in their career. And there's, as Paul said, there's a lot of people who deserve credit for this, and I can't accept this without acknowledging at least a few of them, and I'll try to be quick. I'll start, of course, with Paul. Going to the Supreme Court with Paul Smith.
That part, make it long.
Yeah, I'll stretch this out. Going to the Supreme Court with Paul Smith is like going to the Super Bowl with Eli Manning. So it was a huge thrill for me to get to work with Paul on this. And Paul's incredibly hardworking team at Jenner, Katie Fallow, Matt Hellman, Dwayne Posa, thank you guys. But the real thanks has to go to the ESA and its member companies who had the vision, the fortitude, and the perseverance to take this fight all the way to the Supreme Court. It's sometimes easy to take for granted the hard work that the ESA does, which is making sure that the public conversation about video games is a positive one, whether it's in courts of law or the court of public opinion. The Schwarzenegger case was certainly a hard slog and yielded a great result, but it's only one of the many examples of the things that ESA does to facilitate an environment that allows you all to do what you do best, which is to make great games limited only by your imaginations. So this truly was a team effort at ESA, and I want to make sure that the whole team gets credit here. Mike Gallagher, of course, for his overall leadership and vision, deserves a huge amount of the credit here. Rich Taylor, who, for his masterful communication strategy, which again was a big part of this whole picture. Eric Huey, who led the government relations effort. The dedicated staff at the ESRB, who show every day why government intervention is not warranted here. And then many other folks who just helped to make sure that we as an industry were all pulling together in the same direction. And there are a number of other industry leaders who deserve thanks for stepping up to support this cause. People like Ted Price and Mike Capps, who are just such great champions and living illustrations of the very best that this industry has to offer. ESA member companies, of course, who are the lifeblood of the ESA's important work. Chairman of ESA's Board of Directors, John Riccatello, for his leadership and support of the ESA's mission. And to all of you who demonstrate to the world the creativity and expression that are the hallmarks of this great industry and why it's so deserving of the utmost constitutional protection. So it's great that we have the Schwarzenegger case behind us, and we've hopefully closed the book on on this particularly unpleasant chapter of the industry's history, but we should never grow complacent about the status of video games in the society. Video games always have their critics, and they always will. There will always be people in positions of power who want to limit how you can express yourself in your games, which audiences you should be able to reach, and how you should be able to reach them. The ESA is a very important warrior for all of you in fighting this good fight, and I'm grateful to the GDC Advisory Committee for recognizing as much and bestowing this award. I'm very privileged to accept this on behalf of all my friends at ESA, and thank you all very much.
Tonight's fourth nominee for Game of the Year, Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Developed by Eidos Montreal. Published by Square Enix. Jean-Francois Dugas. David and Fosse. Mary DeMaro.
Become Adam Jensen and immerse yourself in Deus Ex: Human Revolution. The truth will change you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I love saying that on here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another wonderful video from our friends over at Mega 64, and this one is truly a special treat.
Stop, please pause. Hey, can we just pause the GameSpot? Pause the stream. Pause the stream, please. Go ahead, stop tape.
Time out. We gotta go back.
Did you want to redo the tribute video thing before the show?
Guys, this isn't dress. This is the show. Do you see all the pretty people out there and drinking and having fun?
But wait, this is real? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the real deal, guys.
Oh,
this is actually it. Wait, guys.
This is embarrassing.
What was wrong with the video that we did before? I mean, gotta be honest, I thought I kind of knocked it out of the park, if you know what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought the heat.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, you guys worry way too much. They're perfectionists. You know how they are. Let's just roll that bad boy.
No.
Don't do that. Don't.
Inspector. Let's review some of the accomplishments of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Warren Spector.
This industry luminary made the hit game Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
Oh, Cliff, no, that wasn't him.
He didn't work on that.
He didn't make Human Revolution. That was just another team.
What?
His idea.
He didn't?
Warren Spector.
Warren Spector, the man who brought Disneyland to consoles with Kinect Disneyland Adventures.
Oh, no. He didn't make that. Just Epic Mickey.
He didn't do that? Oh.
Warren Spector.
If Let It Be is your favorite Beatles cut, you only have one man to thank. The producer.
That's Phil Spector.
The guy who killed that chick?
Warren Spector.
On a dark and lonely eve, when you hear a bump in the night.
He's not a real Spector.
Warren Spector.
On the battlefield, who enforces the rules of engagement?
I think you're describing a war inspector. Is that even a real thing?
Pulled that out of his ass.
Warren Spector.
Warren Spector worked on the Rocky and Bullwinkle role-playing party game, and that's pretty cool.
I don't know.
No, I'm on Wikipedia. It says he actually did work on that. It's real.
Oh,
yeah.
Huh.
See? I know my shit.
Presenting the Pioneer Award, a pioneer in his own right. 2004's Game Developers Choice Award Lifetime Achievement recipient and founder of Cerny Games. Please welcome Mark Cerny.
The Pioneer Award is given to developers for creating breakthrough video game genres or concepts. This year's Pioneer Award will be given to Dave Toyer, one of Atari Inc.'s legendary arcade designers from the 1980s. Toyer created classic titles such as Missile Command, Tempest, and iRobot, which helped create modern game genres and define the early days of gaming. The most standout aspect of a Dave Toyer game was the look. Crisp, brightly colored, and geometric. After starting out on titles for Atari like Soccer, Dave burst onto the scene in 1980 with the release of Missile Command, a seminal trackball-based shooter that was a milestone in early computer games. Following on from this, in 1981, Toyer created the iconic vector-based tube shooter release, Tempest, the original psychedelic shooter, which inspired a slew of other innovations in arcade video games and was an early title to use 3D perspective in gameplay. Before moving to a successful career creating first early game art tool Debabbilizer and then later internet collaboration software, Dave left us with one more classic, the cult arcade title iRobot. This 1983 arcade game, not commercially successful at the time, is legendary for being the first commercial video game with filled 3D polygon graphics, as well as being the first video game to feature camera control options, and was years, or even decades, ahead of its time. Please join me in congratulating Dave Toyer as the 2012 Pioneer Award recipient.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to accept the Pioneer Award from the GDC. It's a wonderful compliment to receive this. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to develop video games during the infancy stage of the arcade business. I felt driven from the inside, like a gut instinct, when creating Missile Command, Tempest, iRobot, and the graphics processing tool Debabbilizer. Each project was an all-consuming passion for me. Game development was very different then. It was a dream environment. There was no bureaucracy. There was a short development cycle. Missile Command took only 6 months. It was about 10K of code. New hardware and controls for each game. Extremely small teams, a programmer, game designer, a hardware engineer, a technician, and a project leader. Almost zero politics, since the teams are so small. Direct measurement of early success via field test collections. And final sales success depended mainly on the merits of the game, with little dependency on marketing. Making large amounts of money was not the force driving me to create these games. What motivated me was a very strong desire to create an extremely simple and fun game that would be hard to stop playing. I learned how important it is to have a catchy theme, to play the game over and over thousands of times myself, and in that process to smooth out the gameplay, to eliminate the boring parts, add surprising elements to keep things exciting. This intense process would effectively immerse me in the gameplay so deeply that it would become part of my mind, operating in the background, popping to the foreground when I had time, like when I was driving. At some point, I would feel the right thing to do, almost reflexively. It was not always easy, very often requiring long hours of struggling with issues. But the process was the most productive and fulfilling that I've experienced in my career. I'd like to thank Atari for providing the rich environment to freely explore ideas and develop new games. I'd like to thank my fellow developers at Atari for their support in the game development process. A few of them are actually here tonight. Mark Cerny, Ed Logg, Ed Rotberg, Rich Adam, and John Solwitz. Thanks, guys. I'd also like to thank the numerous colleagues that helped me in the development of Debabbilizer. And thanks to all of you for the fabulous new games you're creating. It just, cracks me up inside thinking what a great job you've done, and I just love playing your games. I still enjoy playing these games, though it is harder to find time being married with children. I've purchased over 300 iPhone games for my family, and many of them are extremely fun. I also enjoy Xbox 360 games, such as Burnout Revenge and Geometry Wars, while I burn off 700 calories every other night riding my stationary bike. I can't wait to see what all of you will do with the next generation of hardware. It's going to be fabulous. In conclusion, I'd like to say thanks again for this for this award. It has been a treat for me to be transported to your modern game developers world. Thank you.
And now, our fifth and final nominee for Game of the Year, Dark Souls. Developed by From Software, published by Namco Bandai Games, Hidetaka Miyazaki.
Even inevitable. Resurrected, my soul awoke, and my battles were fought harder. Death became my friend.
Presenting tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome Electronic Arts Chief Creative Officer, Rich Hillman.
Okay, we're almost done. Warren Spector is a recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions to the art and science of games. I first met Warren when he was at Origin Systems. Warren was a pretty unique creature in our business at that time, a true man of letters in a business full of technology-oriented engineers. He always had a vision for the quality and the scope of expression that was possible from our new art form. He also had a singular focus on the opportunity to make real differences in real people's worldview, and like any great artist, with a career spanning nearly 30 years, Warren has earned a reputation in the industry as a seminal designer, a champion for the proper execution of ideas in video games. His work on the career-defining Deus Ex took place while serving as a partner in the development company Ion Storm and running their Austin-based office. Upon its release in 2000, Deus Ex received wide industry and critical acclaim, and in 2009 was named Best PC Game of All Time among the list of 100 other titles in PC Gamer magazine. In 2004, Warren left Ion Storm the following year and established the Austin-based development firm Junction Point. Junction Point was acquired by Disney Interactive Studios in 2007, and immediately following that, Warren began leading the design of the Disney Epic Mickey product, which was released in 2010 and marked the first time as his first title as part of the Disney Interactive Studios. The game featured Warren's hallmark style of choice and consequence gaming, which he refers to as play-style manners, and was praised for its unique storyline, charming art design, and the tribute it paid to 80 years of rich Disney history. Since beginning his gaming career at Steve Jackson Games in 1983, Warren has played a key role when it comes to defining different genres. As a producer and a designer on titles like TSR's Top Secret SI and Marvel Superheroes, and the Origin award-winning Ultima series, Ultima Underworlds, Martian Dreams, Ultima 7 Serpent Isle, and Ultima Underworld, as well as the Looking Glass critically acclaimed System Shock, Warren has demonstrated his ability to open up new avenues in the role-playing arena and to provide players with fresh gameplay experiences. So please join me in congratulating one of the all-time nice guys of this business, Warren Spector, as the 2012 Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
I'll tell you, if I'd known that the Mega 64 guys were going to do all that stuff about Bullwinkle and Rocky, I would have had a gag about pulling Oswald the Lucky Rabbit out of a hat or something. But okay, anyway, I've watched enough award shows, we all have, to know the drill. You win one of these awards, you have two obligations. First, you have to thank a lot of people, and second, you have to say something profound. I'm going to try to do a little of both. We'll see. I'm going to start with the thanking. It may look like I'm up here on this stage alone, But actually, I'm surrounded by a crowd. The teams, the friends and family who made possible the 20 or so games that I've worked on. I'm often credited as the creator of this game or that game, which makes me profoundly uncomfortable. Game development is the most collaborative endeavor I can imagine, and crediting just one person with the creation of a game seems foolish to me. I mean, I get it, of course. I mean, people want a clear, simple story about how a game or a book or a movie or whatever came to be, and giving one person credit is easy. But that isn't how it works, not in my work, not in anyone's. In my mind, I've done just two things as an individual that could remotely be considered significant. First, I've advocated relentlessly, and I hope mostly successfully, without compromise, for one simple idea. The idea that games should empower players to exercise their creativity rather than showcasing how creative we are as developers. And second, a lesson I learned from Rich Hilleman, in fact, I've surrounded myself with people far more talented than I am, all of whom burned with a passion to bring that idea to life. Now, clearly, and you guys should all be glad about this, I can't name everyone I've worked with who's more talented than me. We'd be here all night. But with your indulgence, I'd like to name a few. For me, everything starts with Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, creators of Dungeons & Dragons. Without Dave and Gary, there's no me. Okay, there's no game business. Probably none of us are sitting here. Equally important, though, my first mentors, Steve Jackson and Richard Garriott. Those two guys I have no idea why they did it. They gave me, I was just a fan, I was an amateur, but they gave me a shot, but more important than that, they gave me an education, and ultimately they gave me what has turned out to be an amazing career. In addition, John Romero. John, yeah, give him his due, man. John gave me the opportunity to make the game of my dreams with no oversight, no strings attached. His and IDOS's trust in the creatives was amazing and inspiring. Without John, there would have been no Deus Ex. And speaking of Deus Ex, I have to thank the sadly unsung heroes of that project, three in particular: Harvey Smith, Sheldon Piccati, and Chris Norden. Harvey's innovative design work, Sheldon's incredibly intelligent story sense, and Chris's coding skills and leadership as the co-director on that game. It's amazing. Those guys pushed each other, they pushed the team, and they pushed me to go places we didn't know we could go. I have to thank Seamus Blackley and Ophir Lupu for being great friends and tenacious agents, and for introducing me to Disney, allowing me to realize a lifelong dream. I have to thank Art Min, who's a great friend as well, and co-founder of Junction Point. His preternatural level-headedness provided some necessary balance in the face of my undeniable craziness during the early days of Junction Point. I got to thank Graham Hopper and Mark Myers, my first bosses at Disney. They supported Junction Point in doing things with Mickey Mouse that I suspect a lot of people at Disney are still nervous about. I know I didn't make their lives easy anyway, let's put it that way. I have to thank my current partners in crime at Junction Point, Chase Jones and Paul Weaver. Guys, I hope and expect to see up here someday accepting their Lifetime Achievement Awards. Okay, maybe second most important, Doug Church, secret master of gaming. Maybe the best designer I know, great program, an inspirational leader, and a guy who for 20 years I've been proud to call my teacher, my collaborator, and my friend. And finally, and yes, number one, my lovely wife Caroline, who, like all gaming spouses, you all know it's true, they put up with a crazy, obsessed game developer, and for 30 years, I have no idea how she's done it, and no words can express my thanks. That list represents just a few of the people in the crowd on this stage behind me. All of them are here because they shared a passion for the simple idea, the important idea, that empowering players is what games are all about. So why do I think that's important? Well, simply put, it's because it's something that games can do that no other medium can. Games are unique among all media, among all art forms. We're not novels, we're not movies, we're not television. We shouldn't try to be like them. We can do things that no other medium in human history has ever been able to do. We have to focus our energy on those things, the things that make us unique, and not on imitating other media. I'm a wordy guy, by the way. I'm not going to keep this short. For me, and for the shadows on this stage, that's what makes us unique. The idea of player empowerment, of choice and consequence, that what play style matters, okay, the two-word version of it. But what I think makes us unique is less important than each of us embracing the idea that we are unique. And there are as many ways to express that uniqueness as there are people in this room, as there are people making games. The key is to find your own take on what makes us special, and then never settle in pursuit of that. Do that, and you'll discover, if you didn't already know, that games can be something more than a way to make some money for yourself or for the company you work for. And you'll inevitably, I think, make games that are more than ways for players to waste time in mindless button mashing, key clicking, or finger swiping, no matter how much fun that might be. We can provide players with experiences profound, as lasting, and as life-changing as any novel, play, film, or television program. And if we can do that, we must do that, or risk being relegated, and deservedly so, to the ash heap of history. Look, I hope I have many more years of game making ahead of me, but as a guy far closer to the end than the beginning, I can tell you that you don't get to work on many games, even in a long career. So you have to make every one of them count. Always strive to make your games special. Make them say something. Better yet, make players say something, learn something about themselves through their choices and their interactions. I promise you that affecting people, affecting players' lives, maybe changing their lives, is more satisfying than generating a ton of revenue or getting a great review. If you embrace the uniqueness of our medium and strive for greatness, even if you fail, your future, our future, will be bright. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself one day standing up here with a crowd of your own, accepting your Lifetime Achievement Award. And when that day comes, I'm going to be the bearded, sweater-vested shadow near the back of the stage, smiling. Thanks for a great 29 years, and I hope another 29 to come. Thank you.
That was an absolutely amazing speech. If you're a neophyte developer or a veteran, watch that again over and over again. You'll take a lot away from it. Before we announce the Game of the Year winner, let's take a look and recap all of the year's honorees.
Game of the Year. Batman, Arkham City. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Portal 2.
The truth.
Deus Ex, Human Revolution. Dark Souls.
Death became my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Game of the Year award goes to Skyrim.
supposed to put this up here. Everyone's been doing that. This is weird. I have no idea who these people are. This is like awkward. I thought Warren did give a great speech, and he made me think Yeah, another round of applause. That was, he made me think that you don't get many shots at this. And we actually won this award for our last game, Fallout 3, and to be up here again is amazing for us. The first credit in the credits of Skyrim is game design, Bethesda Game Studios. And so I think game design is one of those things that takes a group of people from every discipline to pull something like this off. And everybody on the team, we have a lot of guys here, but there's 100 of us back in Maryland who made the game that we really wanted to play. And it was just us there working on it for 3 years, doing everything we could do to make something we thought was fun and the best that we could do, but we never imagined the reception the game would get or the success that it's had, and that's all because of everybody out there, all of you. You know, being part of gaming and having everybody take to the game and make it their own and honor us with awards like this is really amazing. And this, to all of our families, our parents, our spouses, everybody who supported us, all of the fans out there, this has been an amazing ride for us, not just on this game, but for the last 25 plus years at Bethesda. Thank you to everybody who supported us, and thank you everybody out there who's making games that inspires us. And again, this is the greatest form of entertainment on the planet, video games. Thank you all so much.
Still get chills with that theme song. That game, I just have no idea how they built the darn thing, and for me, it's one of those games that captured the same feeling I had when I played the original Legend of Zelda. It's the only game to do it since then, so let's give them another round of applause. So that about wraps it up for me. Congratulations to all the winners and the nominees. Those of you in the audience who are just getting started in the business and hope to be up here someday, possibly accepting an award, please remember that through hard work, communication, teamwork, innovation, and sleeping with someone in HR, you might one day earn the right to be ruthlessly heckled online by anonymous bastards who wouldn't dare to say to your face what they say to you online. I'm coming for you guys. And also earn the respect and true recognition of your peers. And this is indeed an honor, one of the greatest you could ask for. Thanks for coming, and good night.